And it's inspired by history. Spencerville Stories are coming October 19th and 20th. With all the details, we say hello to Sheila Dubyk with us, writer, producer, director of Spencerville Stories.
Yes.
Nice to have you here, and pretty much
you.
the same title for you, Myra McFarlane. Good to have you here.
Hi, thank you.
So it's the first time this is happening, Myra?
Yes, this is the first time this is happening in Spencerville.
Okay, so what's the story then? How come all of a sudden Spencerville?
Well, Sheila and I co-wrote and produced and directed a play in Manotick, and one of our friends from Spencerville saw it, said, "Can you do this in Spencerville?" We said, "Sure." I said, "Sure." And then I called Sheila, and she said, "No." And I said, "No, you really want to do this." And now we're doing it. So it's about Spencerville. It's with the people in Spencerville, so it's unique to Spencerville.
Okay. So Sheila, it's inspired by history, as I mentioned. Now, everybody, for the most part, in these stories are real people?
Yes, all except for two characters in the stories are real people, and we had a lot of fun researching it. The best time that we had was we had to find a couple that got married in the church in 1929, and we searched and searched and searched. And when we finally found this couple, and they were a fairly well-known family in Spencerville, we went, "Yay!" And actually, it would have been embarrassing to have somebody in the room.
Because you were so excited.
Yes.
So a lot of research did go into this.
Yes, a lot of research went in. Myra went down to the archives in Prescott, and I did a lot of research on Anne's history.
Okay, now it's primarily based at the 1920s and 30s?
1920s and 30s, the grower bus story is which takes place in the mill, is 1932, and then we kind of move back in time to 1929, and then 1919 or 1920, we're not quite sure, because it's the mists of history.
Okay, so I do want to understand this and make sure it's clear to the viewer right now. It's a progressive play. It's 3 parts, 3 plays?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, think of an anthology.
Okay. All right.
An anthology of stories about people in Spencerville,
Okay.
and important events that happened in their lives.
Okay, so one is called Grower Bust, then A Wedding to Remember, and then After the Fair. Now, it also takes place in different locations as well.
Yes. Grower Bust takes place in the mill. It's the story of the Barnard family when they were deciding at the height of the Depression to purchase a brand new water turbine to increase production, which we thought was really gutsy, so we wanted to tell that story.
Okay.
The second one, After the Fair, takes place at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, and that's the wedding that we found.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite go as planned. And then the third one is After the Fair. It takes place at the Legion, and it's really the story about people trying to find their normal after World War I. And it stars 3 young ladies, fabulous young ladies from South Granville District High School.
That's good. So, Myra, how would it work then as a viewer, a patron of these shows? Because you're getting in your car and going to different locations?
Well, no, you're walking.
You're walking, so they're all within walking distance?
Oh, yes. There are 700 steps between the mill and the church. It's a 7-minute walk. We know this. Now, there is provision to drive if you really want to.
Okay, of course.
But you're also getting a guided tour through town as part of this exercise. So think about, you start in the mill, you spend about half an hour in the mill, get your hors d'oeuvres, which are deviled eggs and deviled ham, consistent with the 1930s kind of hors d'oeuvres. Then we sashay over to the church for the wedding and the wedding supper, which is done by the ladies of the St. Andrew's Church. And I will tell you that in Spencerville, when you say the ladies of the church are doing the dinner, they're like, "I'm in."
Church food is good.
Church food is good. And then over to the Legion for dessert, and yes, a bee's knees gin cocktail.
My goodness.
Yes, and if you put that together with the timing, 1919, 1920, you are doing something slightly illegal.
Wow. Okay, illegal's fun sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Is weather a concern with any of this? No?
It's all indoors except for the going through town. And as we said, people, if the weather's inclement, then they can drive.
Or bring umbrellas.
Or bring umbrellas.
It is a 7-minute walk.
Yeah, the food component, though, must add a flavor to this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's like having a progressive dinner with a play at each stop.
Okay, I really think that's so much fun. Let's talk quickly about Mary Moore, who is a big part of this as well.
Yes, Mary's the president of the SBCC, which is the Spencerville Business and Community Connections, and they're a big part of the show. But Mary also has been our graphic artist for all of the graphics that you see. Plus, she has written 2 original pieces, and she brought her jazz band to After the Fair.
She's bringing a jazz band.
Got to bring a jazz band to a show.
Yes.
That just adds food and jazz bands, and very few seats available, really, because you were saying the tickets went on sale today.
Yes. And
Yeah.
at 10 o'clock this morning, we were a third sold out.
So it goes pretty quick these
Goes
seasons.
very fast.
There are only 60 tickets available per show.
Wow.
And they are online, or if you want to go down to Spencerville before the show, you can get them at Little Sisters, Bistro and Cafe, and at the Spencerville Legion as well.
Yes, and we should tell you, we should put a plug in for the Spencerville Fair, which is this weekend.
It is.
Yes, it is. And the Legion will be selling tickets at the fair.
That's good.
If there are any left.
With food and in all of this, I mean, you get that cocktail as well. I think people should get on board with this sooner than later. 60 times 3 shows isn't a lot of tickets.
Two shows.
2 shows. There's only 2 shows.
There's only 2 shows.
120 of our best friends.
Amazing. Thank you, Sheila
Yes.
and Myra.
And they're
You're very
$50
welcome.
a ticket, though. We didn't.
That is value right there.
Yes.
$50 a ticket. More daytime coming up.